Hi, it's me again, a good dog. Today, I want to tell you about a feeling. One I have almost every single day, and one I've never really had a way to explain, because for a long time, I didn't fully understand it myself. Let me try to explain it now, because by the end of this, I think you're going to recognize exactly what I'm talking about. And I think you might be surprised by where it actually comes from, and even more surprised by what it's been quietly telling you this whole time. It starts with something so small, you've probably never thought twice about it. I'm talking about the hug. It starts like this. You come toward me, your arms open, and before anything else happens, before your hands even touch me, something in my body changes. My head tilts. Maybe you've seen that. You probably think it's curiosity, or that I'm listening closely to something you just said. Sometimes that's true, but not always. Then your arms close around me, and the very first thing I notice, before the warmth, before your voice, before anything else, is that I can no longer move freely. That registers first, every single time. My tail starts moving. You see this and you relax, because to you, a wagging tail means one thing. Happy dog, good moment. You hold on a little tighter. Here's something about that tail. A wag isn't a feeling. It's a signal of activation. My nervous system turning something up, like a volume knob. It could be joy. It could be something else entirely. What it actually means depends on how high my tail sits, how stiff it is, how fast it's moving. A loose, low, easy wag and a high, tight, fast one are not the same animal having the same experience inside. But from where you're standing, they can look almost identical, so you can't always tell which one you're looking at. Honestly, for a long time, I'm not sure I could have told you the difference either. Then something else happens. I go still, very still. You feel that stillness against your chest, and you think, he's settled in, he's relaxed, he likes this. I want to be honest with you. I used to read it that way too. I thought going still was just what happened in that moment, a kind of pause. I didn't have another word for it, but it isn't a pause. My breathing changes. It gets shallower, faster, smaller. Something shifts behind my eyes. If you could see my face clearly right then, you might notice the whites of my eyes showing slightly, while my head stays locked in place, looking somewhere else. My ears tell their own story, if you know how to read them. Pinned flat against my head, that's discomfort. Rotated slightly inward, held at an angle that doesn't look quite natural, that's a step further than discomfort. I'm not choosing to show you any of this. It's controlled by the same system that gets an animal ready for danger. You're watching that system switch on, in real time, an inch from your face. None of that is me settling in. And here's the part I only worked out recently, the part that changed how I understand every single one of these moments, looking back. There's a name for what I just described. I just didn't know it. People who study dogs for a living once looked through 250 photographs, ordinary, everyday photographs of owners hugging their dogs. Nothing staged, just real moments, the kind that get shared with captions like, "He loves cuddles." But the people studying them weren't looking at the photos the way you would. They were counting specific things: the ears, the eyes, the mouth, the tension running through the body. Specific, measurable signs that a dog's nervous system has shifted into something other than calm. In more than 8 out of every 10 photographs, the dog was showing at least 2 of those signs, at the same time, in the same moment. And when the owners were asked how their dog felt in that exact photo, what was happening for their dog right then, almost all of them said the same thing. He loved it. Same photo. 2 completely different stories, and only one of them was being told by a body that can't lie about it. Here's what's actually happening inside me, physically, in that moment. My body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. It's measurable afterward, in my saliva. My heart rate goes up. A part of my brain, called the amygdala, built specifically to detect threat, switches on. And at the exact same time, the part of my brain that helps me think clearly, that helps me choose a good response instead of just reacting, that part goes quieter. So, in the moment you're holding me the tightest, the moment that means the most to you, I am, biologically, at my least equipped to handle it well. I want to pause here, because I don't want you to hear any of this as an accusation. It isn't one. For thousands of years, dogs weren't shaped by evolution to enjoy everything a human does to them. We were shaped to tolerate it. That's a huge part of how we ended up living in your houses instead of out in the woods. A wolf, held like this, would respond immediately, with teeth, with force, with no patience at all. I don't. I go quiet instead. I've always gone quiet instead. Every dog like me has, for thousands of years. But quiet isn't the same as comfortable. There's a term for what happens when both of those things are true in the same moment. When an animal trusts someone completely and is also, right then, afraid of them. It's called ambivalent attachment. Your brain doesn't really have one clean feeling for that. Neither does mine, but it's real. It's measurable, and it happens to me more often than you'd probably guess, usually in exactly the moments you'd least expect it. And this next part is the one that's harder to say. Quiet means I learned a long time ago that telling you doesn't change anything, not because you don't care, because you never saw the message in the first place. The tilt, the freeze, the eyes going still. To you, these have always looked like love. So, somewhere along the way, I stopped expecting you to read them differently. I just endured, quietly, the way dogs have always been built to. Here's the part I need you to really sit with for a second. When a dog has been quietly enduring something, for months, for years, and then one day finally says no in the only way that's left to say it, it never looks sudden from the outside. The people in that moment always say something similar. He was so sweet. We don't understand. He's never done anything like this before. But it was never sudden. It was years of small signals, repeated thousands of times, that nobody was reading, because nobody had ever been taught how. I'm not telling you this to frighten you. I'm telling you because I love you, and because I'd rather you hear it from me gently now than the harder way later. This isn't just me, by the way. This is happening in homes everywhere, probably right now, in this exact second. A dog going still in someone's arms, a person feeling closer to their dog than ever, and two completely different things being true in the same moment. Nobody's doing anything wrong on purpose. It's just that one side of this conversation has never really been translated before. And I want to be really clear about something, because I don't want this to land the wrong way. I am not asking you to stop touching me. I love being close to you. I love it when your hand rests on my back while we're sitting on the floor together. Not holding, just resting. I love leaning my full weight into your leg until you almost have to catch yourself. I love sitting with my back against you, both of us facing the same direction, doing absolutely nothing at all. None of those moments take away my ability to move, and that's the entire difference. In every one of them, I'm the one choosing to stay exactly where I am. That's not a smaller kind of affection than a hug. To me, it's a bigger one, because it's voluntary. Every second of it. And if you ever want to know which one you're actually in, here's the simplest test there is. In the middle of a hug, loosen your arms for just a second. Don't let go completely. Just loosen them and wait. Do I lean back in, or do I take the opening? That answer will tell you more than anything I could ever say. So here's the feeling I started with. The one I never had a word for. It's this loving you and being afraid at the exact same time. Both true. Both happening in the same body, in the same second. You've probably felt something close to that yourself once or twice. Caring about someone so much that you couldn't quite bring yourself to say something true out loud. That's not far from what this is, for me. Next time your arms start to come toward me, just pause for 1 second first. Look at my ears. Look at my eyes. Ask yourself, Did I choose this moment, or did you choose it for me? You don't have to give anything up by asking that. The closeness, the warmth, the love, all of that can stay exactly the same. You just don't have to hold on quite so tight to keep it. It's such a small change, really. Smaller than almost anything else I could ever ask of you. And it would mean more to me than you probably realize. I'm a good dog. And today, for the first time, I think I finally had the words. See you next time.